Yeah, so all these examples are in a project in Git, the Git repository, and I've got that open in here, I think. Yeah, I've got, so if I sign on to GitLab as me, Java John, you can see I've got my project in there, and this tells you how you can access that project. So that's all there in Git. So what you could do well, first of all, you could actually sign up to GitLab yourself. That screen I was in before, you can either sign in or register, so you can register and get your own name. And then what you can do, you can grab the HTTPS version of this link, like that, and and what you could do, you could go to your file system. So I'm here, where am I in here? Yeah, see if I've actually got a Git directory especially for this kind of thing. So that contains the projects I'm working on in this class. But let's create a new one. Test. There we go. And cd into test. And what I can do is I can do git clone and then that URL. So that's what you could do when you first sign up. But make it even easier. So if I did that, it would prompt me for a username and password. Even better than that is if you set up your own SSH key, and then you can use this link, and it won't ask you for a username and password. Now you might think, well, you've set up a US key. You might not be familiar with that, but there's some very good help on how to do that. There's a Java tool that can generate the public and private key for you, and all you have to do is paste. Once you've created your profile here, all you have to do is paste your SSH key in your profile, and it kind of works like magic. There's a handshake that happens every time. So once you've, if you don't want to do that, you can just do it through the HTTPS link, but then it will ask you for your user and password every time. If you're interacting a lot with it, it gets very annoying. So I'm going to just do git clone, and then the link that I've copied from here, and it'll start to clone that. There it is, clone that, and it's done. So if I have a look now, you can see it's cloned my Java study group thing again there. So I've got that. This is the directory we just created, and it's all in there. There we go, all the classes and everything. So you can do that. So, but what I'll do now. So if I cd into that Java study group. And if I do git status, that's very common. It tells you what's the status of your Git repository at the moment. It's just saying it's fine, it's up to date, and everything's all right. Nothing to commit. That's because I haven't made any changes. But if I go back to the one that I used for our demos, that one, Java group, and then I think it's Java study group. There we go. So there we go. I'm in the root of the project that I've cloned and I use for our study group. If I do git status there, it's telling me all sorts of things. It's saying, oh, wow, since all these things have changed because I've been editing them in IntelliJ. All these things have changed on the fly. File provider, that's one we just added right now, and it's color coded as well, like new files and renamed things are in green, modified are red. But it's a list of all the things that have changed. Also, IntelliJ helps you as well, because you might notice that it color codes things. You may have noticed when we've been doing our demos, like in here with the one we just did, that's green because that's a new file. These are blue because they're not new, but they've been modified. And what we can do as well, let's just do a new Java class called test, because I'll get rid of it afterwards, tester or something like that. IntelliJ says to me, do you want to add this to Git? If I say yes, it will create it as a green one like that. But if I say no, it creates it as a brown one. So we've got 3 different levels here. We've got 4 different levels really. We've got things that are in black. They are committed to Git and they're up to date. Things in blue, they're committed to Git, but they've got changes on them. Green, they're new files that you've added locally to your Git repository, but you haven't pushed them to the remote Git store yet. And these classes in brown, they're new members that you haven't even added them to your local repository, let alone the remote one. So what I'll do, I'll actually get rid of that one. Well, actually, I'll keep it in there because we can always delete it from Git. I'll keep it in there just to show what we're doing here. So what you can do, you can go back here again. If I do git status again, it's listed all those things, and it's added a new one to the list there, tester, which I've just added there. So first thing I want to do, if I want to save all those changes, first things I want to do is I want to stage them locally in my own Git repository, because what Git does, it creates a repository locally on your machine, which kind of synchronizes with the remote one on the server, on the GitLab server. So I'm saying, right, locally for now, let's just add these, stage these to my repository. So I'll do git add dot. So dot means everything. You could just do individual ones if you wanted, but I want to just save everything. So there we go. So there's a whole load of feedback stuff there. You can change the level of logging you want there. I probably will do, because I don't want all that logging. If I do git status again, now they're all green. They're all green now. They've all been staged locally, so they're all green. So now I want to say, yeah, I'm happy with these. I actually want to commit them. So you git commit, and it's always best if you can do a message, because these will be messages will be logged against them. So -m changes following chapter 4 session 2. So commit them there. Now if I do git status again, it's saying I don't. So if I just clear that, so we can do that again. I no longer have that massive list of things because they're all committed. But it is saying, yeah, you've committed the changes, absolutely fine, nothing to commit. But your own copy of your Git repository is ahead of the one on the server by one commit. But that's the commit I just did. So finally, what I do is git push like that, and that will commit that on the server as it's there doing. So now if I do git status, there, branch is up to date with origin master, which is the remote one. Nothing to commit, everything's fine. And if I come in here, and you can see these are all black now, so it's telling me, yeah, these are all committed. So Git's up to date. Most of these you can actually do through Git itself if you've got the right plugins. You can actually do those commands through Git. But what I find is that it's a bit, if you can learn to do it through the command line, it's a bit more powerful, and you have a few more tools, and it's a bit more predictable. And if things go wrong, it's a bit easier to solve them if you know the command line tools. But yeah, so if you wanted to join that group, you just have to sign up here at GitLab, and this is the URL to this particular project, and then you could create your own branches and things. And it just shows, if I refresh this, it just shows like there we go, about a minute ago I committed that, and you can look at all the commits there and all the activities. If I go, there's all sorts of information on there. This is the one we're in. So it's, and here's all my, all my commits and branches and things. What I would do, I'm working exclusively on the master branch at the moment. What I do, if people start to use this, I would of course protect the master branch so no one can touch it, and then create some branches for people to kind of play with. So that's how to connect it to Git. And of course, if you do create a GitHub account, you can of course create your own projects very easily, add them there and give other people access to them, and all the rest of it. And Git is very much kind of the way things are going in the new agile sort of DevOps world. It's very much a tool of choice. So that's just a very basic demonstration on how to use Git.